Hello everyone. Today we dive into the domain of intimacy and authority. And that intimacy, extraordinary intimacy, starts with your own authority. We'll be doing a little experiment for this video, but I want to start by saying that the coin of the realm of extraordinary intimacy, the currency to get in the domain of extraordinary human intimacy, human relationship, that coin is the sacrifice of your own dead mechanical survival strategy. Because your dead mechanical survival strategies, actually, only follow rules and beliefs and stories and conclusions and want to fulfill some fantasy world that was given to you in your childhood when you build your survival strategy. So your dead mechanical survival strategy cannot create extraordinary intimacy. It will create ordinary intimacy. You, on the other hand, inside of here, you guys, you have authority. You are the only thing that has authority to create. However, creation makes you vulnerable. Creation makes you attackable. Having your own authority, you have learned in school, this is one of the prisons that you're in. You have learned in school that having your authority is dangerous. What if you contradict? What if you question the teacher? What would happen then? Probably you would get punished. Probably you would get humiliated. Probably the teacher would have you on a list, and every time it would get a chance, would remind you in ways either subtle or not so subtle to not question the authority. Because they have authority and you don't in this system. So this is where we are in regards to our own authority. We have learned to give it away. We have learned that other people have authority and we don't. Because the moment we have authority, we become vulnerable. We become attackable. We start saying what we want. And really, where we're going with this is, how can we discover again what we want, what you want inside of here, not what the different layers of your survival strategy want. Because, for example, if we're starting this experiment, and two people meet, and they're buried under the layers of they were born and raised in a patriarchy. There it is. This is the patriarchy. They've also been to school. They've learned how to survive in school, buried in the layers of school survival strategy. You have also discovered how to survive in your parents' home. This is your survival strategy that you've built to survive in your parents' bubble. And then on top of this, you have your unique, this beautiful little piece is your unique survival strategy. So let's imagine two people meet. Let's imagine it's a man and a woman. It doesn't have to be. We're not only talking about romantic relationship. But a man and a woman meet, and they decide to meet out in the forest for a walk. Everything's going well, but it starts raining. All of a sudden it starts pouring rain. And the automatic decision is let's go back to our car. And the man, who's tall and strong, starts running. He runs, and gets to his car a minute before the woman. And he waits in his car, and the woman knocks on his window to decide what they want to do next. And here it is. After 5 minutes after meeting somebody, the man is already running ahead of the woman, a minute ahead, dry in his car, and the woman is standing out there in the water. This is trying to create intimacy, being stuck in the patriarchy. I mean, there's so many other examples. If you go to cafes, you can notice how two people are speaking at the same time. People are speaking at the same time. Again, buried under layers of survival strategy, if we don't listen to each other, maybe we don't actually have to say really what we want. The patriarchy is not only men, it's not only in the men. The women have the patriarchy inside of them through competition, through resentment, through who's going to be the queen at the arm of the king. You might have noticed that in your life. If by any chance two people get to navigate to the edge of the patriarchy, outside of the survival strategy that they have to build, that you had to build in the patriarchy, here is another layer of survival strategy. School. In school, what are you taught? In school, you're taught that the other person across from you is the authority figure, that you need to give your authority to somebody who seems higher up in the authority chain. Most often, it would be the woman would give her authority away to men, because in a patriarchy, which school is buried in, the men have more authority. So here we are, two people still trying to create intimacy, trying to be with each other. And in school, you're taught to have the right answer. You need to know before you speak. You need to know before you make a proposal that it's going to work, that it is the right answer. In school, you've been terrified about not knowing. You've been shaped into knowing machine. Extraordinary intimacy is ongoing actions of nonlinear creation. Extraordinary intimacy cannot be known. It is a creation from moment to moment. But if you are still in school, if you need to have the right answer, there it is. That's how close you can get to each other. This is how close you can get to each other. If by miracle, if you have emotional healing process, if you learn to navigate the nothingness and the unknown, and you let yourself speak from the unknown, and you get out of school, by some miracle you get out of school, and you want to create intimacy with somebody, and there you are living in the same house, whether you cohabiting or living with your partner, and there your parents' bubble gets in the way of extraordinary intimacy. And this is all the question about how do you set the table? How do you cook the potatoes? I mean, what's the right way of putting the toilet paper on the toilet roll, like the toilet paper roll? Like, is it this side or this side? Is it like, how do we spend Christmas? What should I do for birthdays? What should I offer for birthdays? On and on and on. The moment as you're still stuck in your parents' bubble, in your parents' way of doing things, this is how close you can be intimate with somebody. You can not actually see them or hear them or be with them where they are or where you are. So it takes something to heal from the patriarchy. It takes work to get out of school and enter the not knowing. It takes work to take back your center from your father or your mother and to leave your parents' bubble, their relationship to money, their relationship to food, their relationship to holidays, their religion, what they consider being a good daughter or a good son, that you have to study, that you have to have a degree or a good job or enough money. If you can take your center back from both your mom and your dad and maybe even your family as a whole. And there you are, out of 3 prisons, and you try to have intimacy. There's still a layer, and this is your unique survival strategy, which is we call your box. It's your unique box. And it just englobes you, and you feel at home. It feels pretty, it feels righteous, it feels normal. And it's filled with emotional reactivity, righteousness. Also, it can be depression, isolation, the need of not being in company of somebody if you're not okay. So if you're not okay, you have to go away. And again, then you still don't have your authority to create what you really want, because what you really want is inside. And if you notice, what's the difference between those two? These are 2 beings. During this 2 hours, we'll be working on how to navigate back to this point, to this part of you. There's this being who can discover what they really want, moment to moment, and share it, and create it, and make proposals, and change your mind, and make counter proposals. This is where we're going in this 2 hour, which is nothing. This is the work of a lifetime, to be able to get to this point and stay there, ongoingly, moment to moment, no matter what the circumstances are.